Hi Andy, so I just thought I'd do you a quick video just to kind of show you your progress, and obviously still stuff that needs to change, but first thing is obviously it's a lot different to what it was, and it's a lot better, and obviously striking the ball better as well. So from setup, I wouldn't change anything there at all, really good. If I just quickly go to the top of the swing and look at the main thing that's changed, so if you look at the position of the club face here, that's very good. The left wrist would still need a little bit of work, so that's the first thing that you can change. You've just got to be careful at how you've kind of got to that club face that looks sort of really neutral and square, is because you've strengthened your grip. And I probably wouldn't go down that line straight away. The problem with when you strengthen a grip is it's much easier to actually cup your wrist and extend the wrist. So this position here, you can still see it's slightly cupped. So we'll have a little look at that next time. But for now, it's not a major issue. But we will look into that. So from here, apart from the wrist, you're in a really nice position there. I mean, as a preference, I would still look, if you go to that position number 2 here, where the head disappears behind the hands, as opposed to that one. Okay, I would still get you to try and feel to work on that, getting into that position, if that makes sense. As you take the club back, because you obviously get the head working inside of the hands, when you go up to position number 3, where the shaft is parallel, the left arm is parallel to the ground, you can see how it obviously points a long way outside of the ball, and you would call that sort of quite laid off or too much behind you. You know, the position of your hands is pretty good, but the angle of the shaft would still need to be quite a bit steeper. Only from the fact from the top of the position, as you come down now, that shaft gets quite steep in that initial transition move there. So you can see you go from here to there, so where you go lead arm parallel to the ground. Now obviously that shaft points quite a bit inside the ball. So if you look at what a good example of what we would want it to do, if we can get it a little bit steeper on the back, it's generally easier for you to feel the club almost going a bit more behind you, or laying off, or shallowing. So if I then draw the 2 lines on the one on the right from Mr. Woods, you can see how this one now points outside of the ball. So if you think this line here for him, yeah, is this line here for you, the one he's on there, okay, this one is where you are now. So those are the 2 things that need to change. And then what you kind of get, draw this line in, take all these lines off, okay. So what you get from the top of the swing is, because the shaft goes flat or too flat behind you, now you've got to pull down and get it back in front of you. Okay, so now the shaft goes steep, and now if you can just sort of that movement, now what you do is you throw your hands away from your body, okay, because you're desperately trying to get that shaft or that head of the golf club to lay back and behind you. Okay, and then what you do is you start to stand up. So if I put a line on your initial posture at the start, which is fine, okay, and then this little line on your backside, as you start to swing down, because you've gone steep and now your body's all the time reacting, you can see that you start to move forward, okay, to try and keep the head behind your hands, so that now your spine starts to go in the opposite direction. So as your center of mass moves this way, your spine will move in the opposite direction to keep you balanced, because if you didn't, you would just fall over. Okay. And then again, you pull the handle up and then that's why you get this sort of really high looking shaft. You can see the space that you've moved off the original line. Again, obviously this is a perfect example, but you can see the difference in the spine. You can see the difference in the angle of the shaft. Yeah, so totally different. And then from there, it's then about trying to square the club face up, because so the path actually gets probably 7-8 degrees to the right, and then you can see the rate of closure on those hands. Yeah, so you're really trying to square the face up to stop it from blocking yourself out to the right. So you can play golf like this, and you're doing really well, but it's quite exciting to kind of see how well you strike the ball, and how much more there is left in there. But a lot of the faults come from this initial movement, so this pulling of the shaft down, and the shaft going behind you so much. Now I've got to get it back in front. Now it's too steep, so now I throw the hands out. But now I'm going to get a path that's going to go way to the right. Now I've got to square it over my hands, and then you can see how much closer you kind of get to the ball. So that's going to affect things like strike and stuff as well. So hopefully that makes sense. Any questions whatsoever, just let me know.